Hi. First of all, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Royce, you're doing a reflections video. You've left Zakia on a horrible cliffhanger. How could you be doing this? How could you be ending the campaign? Well, let me answer that. As I've been thinking about how to get Zakia out of this situation and thinking about the campaign that I want to run next, I realized that there was some synergy there and I could maybe do two things at once. So I will explain what that means at the end of the video. Before then, I do want to do my reflections on Starforged, the Ironsworn system. It's great. It's very narratively smooth. It feels very natural. It feels like the narratives just sort of spill out. So as someone like me who's very interested in the storytelling side of solo RPGs, it's very satisfying. The oracles are great, very thematic. I feel like that always gave me lots of really interesting ideas for characters and places and situations, and I only barely scratched the surface of what's available here. So there's that. So to be honest, I was going to run Starforged earlier than I did. It was going to do it right after my Troika campaign. And I got intimidated. I got a little scared. And I was looking at all the different moves and I was thinking like, oh, what if I choose the wrong move for a particular situation? And I sort of psyched myself out of it and I ran something a little bit more familiar instead. And that's when I ran the Gozer campaign. But by the time I was ready to do Starforged, I realized that I had been thinking about it the wrong way. This idea, because there's all these, very specific moves in the thinking of like, oh, I'm going to choose the wrong move for a particular situation. It doesn't really matter. You could kind of pick whatever move, and you can always do face danger, So that fear that I had was unfounded. And I say that just to alleviate if anyone else is feeling intimidated about approaching Starforged and seeing like, oh, it seems like kind of an intricate system. Don't be. You just give yourself permission to play the game how you want to play. I'm thinking about, we ran that hack as a combat. You can repurpose the moves to do other things. It's your game. You can do what you want. So there's that. People often recommend Ironsworn for new solo players, and I know why they do it, and it's because it's a system and it's an oracle and it's all integrated. You don't need any outside materials. If you've got this, you've got it. You don't need an emulator. You don't need extra tables. So it's all in one package. On that front, yes, it is good and accessible. It is still kind of an intricate system, and learning when to use the oracles versus doing a move, takes a bit of practice. So you have to start somewhere, right? And there's kind of multiple skills to develop when you're doing a solo role play. So I would say if someone's interested in the setting, then yes, go for it for a solo RPG. I don't know what else I would recommend at this point. If I have a critique of the Ironsworn system, is that I felt that with all the weak hits, which are very common, right? The weak hit often introduces a complication or another branching off of kind of thing. And so I felt like my stories were always kind of branching off. Whereas with Mythic, using a Mythic system, I felt, the threads are always returning. There's always a chance that older elements are going to be reincorporated back in surprising ways. It just felt different. I just felt like, okay, we're trying to do this thing. Oh, okay, but we have to do this first. Oh, okay. But then there's this complication that we have to resolve. Okay. And then, if you ran it for any amount of time, it just sort of felt like things sort of like branch into and you just lose track of what you were trying to do. Which is fine if you've got, and I feel like this is sort of designed for like a long campaign, and I did my best to kind of shorten things, and even so, if we were going to complete Zakia's background file, it's going to take so long. I'm wondering if maybe that branching feeling could be mitigated through like player choice, in instead of something, coming a complication and being like a whole new thing, being able to reincorporate. But it just didn't occur to me in the time. The natural feel of the play seemed to be kind of a branching. Yeah, I love it. I would really love to play it again. I'd really love to run it with a group. So, what are we doing next on this channel? Well, I've got something really exciting that I'm really excited about. Hopefully you'll be excited about it too. At this point, I've run 5 campaigns on this channel. And there's some threads along the way that we've left unresolved. Zakia, being in her situation on her cliffhanger, being one of them now. And what I want to do is I want to take characters from all of these campaigns and I'm going to weave them together in a sort of mega campaign, a sort of a Avengers style team up mashup. So we're not going to start with Zakia. We're going to start with some other characters from the Troika campaign who we need to follow up on. But eventually, Zakia's story will weave into the stories of the other characters. I don't know how and I don't know when exactly that's going to happen because there's a lot that the dice decide. But so know that Zakia will return. Scorpio will return. We'll get her out of this situation. We will continue on her quest to retrieve the crown of Empyreon and to help the spirit on the desert planet. We will get back to all of that, but it's going to be woven into sort of a mega story with other characters. So watch for that. Keep your eye on the channel for that coming. It's going to be called Sphere Hoppers, as we're going to be moving from place to place and finding ways to stitch together all these different worlds. So thanks so much for watching and keep an eye out for Sphere Hoppers.